Welcome to the North Tonawanda Football Hall of Fame YouTube channel. I'm Ed Holinsky. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a terrific guest. Once again, this gentleman played for the North Tonawanda Lumberjacks the early 1980s, then moved on, became an All-American at Division III Ithaca College, and in 2007 was inducted into the North Tonawanda Football Hall of Fame. Please join me in welcoming Rich Wagemen. How are you today, Rich?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. I appreciate the opportunity and look forward to talking about some football.
I appreciate the opportunity of you reaching out to me about this. A lot of guys won't do it. A lot of guys won't take the step. I appreciate that. Maybe you've got something that you got to get off your chest, or you just want to chronicle your football history for later generations. Not sure which one it is.
Yeah, all of that and some peer pressure. So some of the teammates I've had over the past part of my lumberjack tour had given me some pressure to reach out to you, and I'm glad I did. Really glad I did.
For people who are not familiar with you or need a refresher course, or for the youngsters out here watching, give us some of your background growing up in North Tonawanda and how you got into football.
Oh, absolutely. It all started with my parents. They're both North Tonawanda high school graduates. I say that I have my blood is NT. That's I don't have a O positive or an A positive blood type. I have an NT positive blood type. So my parents married in early, and they had so many roots to North Tonawanda. My dad was a 4-year starter under George Vetter, so he played football. Fran Burke and Bob Frank were in his wedding, so he talk about legendary NT football staff or players that have been around. My dad was able to bring them into my life at a young age. I mean, I had a football in my crib at the time of birth, and have pictures of me being with Bob Frank and Fran Burke, and so football it was a destiny, and my dad really pushed it. My mom supported it. Both worked very hard, and I made my way through I didn't play any type of Little League football. My dad felt that I should go right into the freshman football with Fran Burke and George Drmacich and learn from there. And then that's mostly what I had done prior to that was neighborhood football. I grew up on North Avenue as a really young child, and I had the Fitzgeralds across the street, the Brokers a couple houses down. So I was always throwing a football around or a ball. Ended up in Wiltshire Park, lived down the street from the Lapers and many Welchoffs, the Schweglers. So there was always something going on, and totally enjoyed the upbringing with sandlot football, more or less.
Well, you come from good stock if you grew up on North Avenue, so because I did too, near the Bend.
Oh, nice.
Heading towards Brewery Road. So I spent a lot of formative years there. And yes, you could always find a game. And then if we couldn't find a game in the neighborhood, we went over to Wurlitzer Park and played with the Lapers and the Schweglers and everybody else that was available at that point. Right near Wurlitzer Pool, and got chased out of there many times by Ted Mohr. So I know the feeling with that. You talk about a destiny with that, your dad playing football. How important was it for you to continue that legacy and play football at NT?
Oh, extremely important. I was so committed to it. I wanted it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Reszel was an excellent experience with Coach Burke and Drmacich, as I mentioned. The camaraderie with those that I met on the team at that point. We had an excellent team. It was built and had the attitude that NT football and just the rich, robust history of NT football. It all came together once you started playing, for sure.
Once you left Reszel, who were some of your JV coaches and your varsity coaches at that time?
Yeah, so JV, we had Tom Murphy and Dick Jagger, who were awesome. We learned the game at another level, and were introduced. We at that point in my career were a year behind the national, or the local championship team that came through North Tonawanda in 1980. So we were exposed to all that great talent. The Mike Hole, Frank Jaskremski, Rusin, Louis Parrish. I mean, there was just great names and great athletes. So the coaching there was with Coach Anastasi, Dave Anastasi, who was immensely influential on my career, especially getting to play after high school. And then also John Jacera, whom I had known as a kid through my dad, and just having to be exposed to him. Coach Wona was awesome. So the coaches, it was you couldn't say enough about the staff and how they cared, and again, that rich history of NT football that they brought to all of us.
What did you like about that high school experience playing high school football? And on the other hand, what didn't you like?
Yeah, well, the experience was the camaraderie, we are now in 40 years or so out of high school, and I refer to teammates, but I still have I would consider them family. There's a group that we played together that now we're still close. We've formed a bond. I would do anything for them. They'd do anything for me. We've seen each other's families grow, now to a point where we have some of them have grandparents, our grandparents. So that is absolutely the best piece of NT football that came out of it. What I didn't like was double sessions. The 2 sessions per day, and the humidity, the heat and humidity. But it was well worth it. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Were the practices harder than the games?
In some cases, yeah. I mean, Coach Anastasi believed in let's practice as hard as we're going to play, and we did. It was awesome. It was great hitting. Hey, can I tell a story about a hit, the hardest hit I ever had on the field?
Go right ahead.
So we're in double sessions, and I played a little guard and a little offensive tackle. I was playing right guard. We had it was hot, and I was hurting. I was forcing my way through the end of the practice, and we're running a sweep right. So Dana DiBernardo, our quarterback. So Ronnie Kubas and Dana DiBernardo, 2 of the best athletes ever to come out of North Tonawanda. They were in our backfield. So Dana takes the snap. He pitches it to Ron. I'm, along with the left guard, I'm the right guard. We're to pull out in front of Ronnie. Well, as my college coach used to say during film sessions, Wageman, get your head out of your ass. I pulled the wrong way. I hit Dave Breyer, who's pulling from the left guard position, and I hit a truck. I went down like a bag of potatoes. Dave was over me saying, "Wage, are you okay?" And I, blinked a couple times, shook my head, got up, but that was the hardest. That man can still play today, I guarantee it. So, the practice sessions were really made to be real game type of practices. So it was good competition and good football.
Speaking of stories, when you guys get together, do the stories get better?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. We, Ronnie Kubas, I remember exploding out and engaging a linebacker Ronnie, Rocket Ronnie Kubas, he was so explosive. He would go through the hole, and I'd be tied up, and the turf and the dirt and the gravel would be spitting up, hit me in the helmet, hit me in the face. The guy was an amazing runner. And we had Eric Follendorf as a tight end. And Eric, another story, Ed, sorry about this, but
no, people love stories, and they're going to call you out if you're really embellishing them too. You know that.
Yeah, exactly. So we come up to the line. Eric was a tight end, huge tight end, 6'5", 230, just built for the position. One of the plays we had been the offensive line will explode out a couple steps, cause the linebacker to come in. Those linebackers aren't the sharpest, so they're following the offensive line. Eric would fall in behind the linebackers. Dana would feed him a perfect ball. You'd catch it, and I'd be engaged at the line and looking down in my line of sight. And there's Eric running through the defense. And I thought to myself, if Sasquatch played football, that's what he would look like. The defensive backs were bouncing off of him. Just an amazing athlete. Great offense. We had Dan Welchoff, rest in peace, Dan. He was on the line along with Dave Breyer and I. We had some really good, real good players.
Back then, did you guys go to camp in the summertime?
Oh, we did. Yeah. 1 year, I think it was my junior year. We did, yes. And it was a great experience. It was out in Dunkirk along the lake. And we were able to, you talk about that camaraderie. It took it to a different level, Ed. It was just, we got to know each other. There's some cards involved. There's a great deal of storytelling. So it was an excellent experience. That's
usually when there's cards involved, there's a little bit of money that's added to it as well too.
Yeah, exactly. That came with it. That came with it for sure. But yeah, we had. I played a little defense too. Defense was awesome. We had a guy in the middle. He was a wrecking ball, Mike Nemec, who I just saw last week, and I went to give him one of those bro hugs, and the guy is so solid. It's like hitting an oak tree. He's still very solid. Two studs on the end. We had Paul Lucazonis and Scott Penman playing on the ends. Paul Lucazonis, who was probably one of the best wrestlers to ever come out of NT. Just a gifted athlete. And the defense was just, we Bob Lanzalaco, Tim Thomas, Rich Flake, just some really solid players. So that we still somewhat keep in touch with too. So.
What were your teams like record-wise during that period when you played varsity?
Varsity junior year, we were rebuilding. So the seniors that had won the championship, the majority of that team had graduated. So we struggled. I think we're 2-7. We still played our hearts out. It was just difficult because we just didn't have the experienced guys on the team. There were a few, like a Don Welchoff was around, Kevin Fleck. There were a few that still were around that helped us gain some momentum. And then for our senior year, we were 5-4. We had a couple of heartbreaking losses that really hurt. However, still a real strong team.
You ever look back and you had great success at Reszel, but going up the line, it didn't translate to that same success level on the varsity level?
Yeah, it definitely, as you look back on it, you wonder why, because we incorporated some of the talent from Payne and the talent from Reszel, and I don't know what was in the water, that made that change. However, the fight was still in us. We had excellent coaching. Like I said, we had a couple heartbreaking losses that senior year, which I think could have changed the whole dynamic of it. But it was definitely a great deal of talent on those teams for sure.
What was your TNT experience like?
It was exciting. I mean, that's what we live for. That again, that rivalry, how far back it went. I still hate Tonawanda. So they sometimes I'll be introduced and I'll say, "This is Dick Wageman from Tonawanda," and I said, "Whoa, fatal error! I'm not from Tonawanda. I'm from North Tonawanda." So I've got to make sure everybody's corrected on that. But yeah, it was and seriously, the Tonawanda side, they were just as excited in all the accolades and all the pre-game parades and parties and the burning of the Tonawanda on the
burning of the Jinx.
Burning of the Jinx, exactly. So it was just exciting for the whole school, for the whole community, actually.
How big were you when you played high school football?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How big were you?
Oh, I was about 6'1", 240-ish when I played high school.
When you see high school football today, bigger, faster, stronger, could you play in today's game?
Yeah. No, I in my mind, I still wear the pads, Ed. So yeah, absolutely. I think I could. I know these kids come up and you wonder where what's in their water when they're playing. But yeah, I mean it's good to see. I just hope that football can continue the momentum and with so much around concussions and that type of thing. I just hope I hope it still can maintain.
What other sports, if any, did you play at NT during your high school years?
Baseball. I grew up playing baseball, little league, and then through freshman through senior, I had played on high school team. So loved baseball. I was a catcher and third baseman. Still love the sport. It's so much strategy behind it, and I wasn't the best hitter, but I felt I could definitely play the defensive side of the ball for sure. Sure.
What were your training regimens like, and what kind of was there a nutrition program back then in the early 80s?
Yeah, no nutrition program other than Jenny Cream and some chicken wings, but the workout was the coaches would encourage workouts. A lot of it was done through our own development. We had I was very close to Bob Shabetta. Bob Shubs. There's nobody that is more passionate about football in this world than Bob Shabetta. He was really the model of working out, and thankfully I was able to work out with him. We would do the summer workouts and the weight training. So once I was introduced to the weights, I think that really helped my game for sure.
What was your experience like playing at the old George Vetter Field?
Oh my gosh, I wish it was still there. It was amazing. It's too bad that it's not there. I think if I was a billionaire, I would have bought that whole place and kept it for sure. It was amazing. The night games, the support we would receive, the excitement we would have. The field was pristine. It was maintained so well. We couldn't wait to play on it. We'd have night practices, which were so exciting, just to be able to be out there before the game.
You end up going to Ithaca College. But before that, were you recruited by other schools?
Yeah, quite a few Division III schools. I had discussions with many Division III schools. A couple of Division I's. Syracuse reached out. I did receive a letter from I think it was Dick McPherson, and a letter from Joe Paterno from Penn State. So yeah, I definitely had some attention. I had the influence of John Laper at Ithaca. John really prepared that path for me there. He's just such an outstanding guy, and a celebrity in Ithaca. My gosh, he took him into national championship. So he was well known in Ithaca, well known with the coaching staff. He introduced me along with Coach Anasazi to the coaching staff, and it really fell into place. So it was an awesome 4 years.
At that point, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was quite the pipeline from North Tonawanda to Ithaca College, and a lot of it was established by John Laper.
Yeah, no doubt. The coaching staff at Ithaca would routinely talk to John, talk to Coach Anastasia, make trips to North Tonawanda. And yeah, John and Carl Gaddotti also had been a great influence with that, for sure.
I want to go over to Ithaca College. How big of a transition was it for you, or how eye-opening was it for you to go from high school to even Division III football?
Huge. It was amazing. I spoke about the talent we had in North Tonawanda. You bring bits and pieces of talent all across the Northeast into Ithaca. It was very competitive. The facilities, the coaching were just so different. It was a great deal of pressure, honestly. And a lot of it was brought on by my own sense of wanting to make sure I'm competing and doing the right thing. So it was a transition that, we had a JV team. So I did play JV my freshman year, which really assisted in making that transition much better.
The hitting was a lot harder. Demand on your time for football. Football became a full-time job, even at Division III, wasn't it?
It was, yes. It was off-season workouts. We were tested at the end of the off-season workouts in speed, endurance, strength. So you had to be disciplined. You forced you to be disciplined, and it was it's that carries over into life. I strongly believe that there's so much that football brings that you can relate to in life, with the discipline, the teamwork, the organization that you needed to do. So very, very fortunate to have gone through that.
What did Coach Jack Butterfield and his staff see in you to instill you as a starter on the offensive line?
Just my commitment to. I think that came from North Tonawanda. I was on the Ithaca Bombers, and I was going to be fully committed to the Ithaca Bombers and do whatever it took to be a member of that team. So my freshman to sophomore year, we were doing off-season workouts in the spring, and one of the workouts had been for the offensive line is running a staircase. So you'd have to do a flight of stairs up and down, and then get eight flights within 2 minutes. So as I was doing it, the last flight, I dove down the stairs. I was burned. The stairs burned my from the reaction on the stairs. It burned my legs, my face, And the coaches just looked at me like I was absolutely freaking nuts. But I was going to show them that I wanted to be on this team. And that was a pivotal time. You go from freshman to sophomore. Now that's, you have a huge JV team. They're only going to select so many that are going to go into the sophomore year. So, you just had to show them that you were built for Ithaca football.
During your high school and college careers, what type of injuries did you have? And can I ask you this? How many concussions that you suffered that you want to admit to?
Yeah, I don't think I've been concussed. My wife would say that I was concussed for sure, but I never had the feeling where I was not knowing where I was, or things blanked out. I had a broken bone in my foot in my sophomore year. I'm sorry, my freshman year, which I wasn't able to play a game or two. But the injury that really I fought through was my junior year at Ithaca. Was my shoulder. I had a shoulder that would pop out, dislocate, and thankfully they had a great training staff, and I was able to work through it. But that had to be the absolute worst injury that I had during that time frame.
1985, you're selected as an All-American. What did it mean to you then? What does it mean to you today?
It meant a huge amount, and I was very proud of that. It was a lot of work. It was a great honor to be named the first team All-American across every Division III school. I still feel good about that. I remind my kids, my three daughters, I said, "Hey, have you ever met an All-American before, a first team All-American?" So, they just roll their eyes so far back in their head that but it just feels good. It's a great honor, and not many can achieve that. So it was awesome.
Once you finish up at Ithaca, you come to that following fall, or following July and August. And what are you thinking when you say, "I'm not putting on the pads, I'm not putting on the helmet, I'm not putting on the cleats"? What's going through your mind?
It hurt. We went to the national championship and lost my senior year. So coming off of that, it's that in itself, we had to get into the right frame of mind, and then not have that finally, as to your point, not have the off-season workouts that next spring semester. It was very difficult. It was a transition that, especially seeing the underclassmen coming up, that they were going through it. We as senior, you're not participating. It was difficult, but you gotta find peace with it, move on. I was absolutely fortunate enough to have been with my wife, now wife, girlfriend back then, and we planned a life together and moved through that piece of it. But yeah, it was tough. It was tough.
Can I ask you how long it took you to get over it? Or had you got over it?
I haven't. I still want to go back to the Stag Bowl and play that one back out for sure. But yeah, I've gotten over it. It was tough. I had some feelers out from the NFL. Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles had asked for my film. They were in Ithaca. They had me do a workout. So there was that slight potential that I'd keep going. It never worked out. The feedback I got had been that my feet weren't fast enough, so I wasn't ready for that step. So, but yeah, it definitely, as the years go by, obviously, there's so many other things that are much more important. So,
did you ever consider playing in the Canadian Football League?
I did not. It wasn't even a thought, actually. Wasn't even a thought.
All right, well, we moved down the road a little bit, and then you get a phone call. You're going to be inducted in the North Tonawanda Football Hall of Fame back in 2007. What's going through your mind and back then, and what's going through your mind about being a Hall of Famer today?
Such an honor. I can't say enough. I am really, again, the word fortunate, just fortunate to be part of the NT history and to be in that Hall of Fame. There's not many that can say that they're in that Hall of Fame, and to be in a football Hall of Fame like North Tonawanda, where the reputation is so well respected. It's great. And when you look through the names that are on there that have been inducted, it really is humbling. They have some extremely talented football players and athletes on that list. So it does really feel good. Really feels good, definitely.
What pieces of advice would you give today's high school players, whether they're from NT or elsewhere?
Yeah, I guess I would start with NT players and say, hey, you really have to understand the history here. It's difficult when you're that age to really absorb what NT football is all about. And I would say that they need to educate themselves on, just from the early years all the way through the teams that have been so successful and the reputation that we have out there. And then as far as any high school player is work ethic. Just keep working, be yourself, work out, and make sure you still have that love and passion for the game as you make your way through the years of football.
We talked about several things here so far. What would you like to talk about that I haven't brought up?
I think, and I touched on it earlier, Ed, and that's the relationships that came out of North Tonawanda. And I still have, Paul Lucazonis, Dana DiBernardo, Mike Nemec, Dave Breyer, Scott Pemman. They're family. They really are. And they're not teammates 40 years ago. They've been someone that we've enjoyed our company, and it continues, and it's I think amazing. And I also would have to say, of all the great experiences and everything that's come out of North Tonawanda, none has been better than my wife Donna, and having that hug in the mid 80s somewhere off of Shank Street near Sousa's Cafe that propelled our relationship for 35-year marriage and 3 awesome daughters, Elena, Haley, and Lindsay. So I think that's more important than anything.
When you look back at it and you say, and it finally strikes you that I've been out of high school 40 some odd years, does it seem that long ago, or does it seem like yesterday?
It seems like yesterday, really, especially when I'm back with those guys hanging out. It just seems like, even if we're on the golf course screwing around or telling stories, it doesn't feel like it was 40 years ago. That's for sure. So, yeah, the time has really slid by. That's for sure.
Any final thoughts from you?
Only have to appreciate what you do through the Hall of Fame, Ed. I think your commitment and reputation with doing these interviews is awesome, and thank you so much for your time.
I want to thank you as well. I'm just a facilitator. You guys are the ones with the history and reliving the story and chronicling the story. But Without you guys, I'm nothing. So it's all about the players, and I wish more guys would reach out to me and take the chance. No trick questions. I'm not Mike Wallace from 60 Minutes, and I don't want anybody's firstborn. So, I mean, it's rather simple at that point. But, Rich, I want to thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Great stories. Thanks so much for sharing and reliving with me. That's been our guest, Rich Wagemen, 2007 North Tonawanda Football Hall of Fame inductee. Thank you.
Thank you.